Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game! When we last left off, we have successfully sailed across the sea to this fairly large continent of Sebuline Reef. You know, considering a reef is basically supposed to be this little island thing, or maybe like underwater, something... Like I'm thinking of a coral reef, and this is an entire continent called Sebuline Reef, so that's quite a lot of reefing. How big is this place anyway? We haven't actually taken a look around this continent yet. There's a place there. A lot of empty path in the middle. I'm sure that'll be filled up with a few places as well. Ah, that place. This place is going to be very, very important in the future. Yeah, this is definitely the larger of the two world maps we've seen so far. Actually, we've seen three world maps. There was Earth, there was the Elf continent, and then there's Sebuline Reef. We'll definitely be on this continent for a while, gotta say. Onward! It's gonna be interesting if at any point in the game one of these junctions can actually be entered. I will have to make an effort to check. Now then, Old Town Shop. Not to be confused with New Town Shop. The Old Town Story. This place looks extremely familiar. No way! It couldn't be the same as the old town store back in our world. Fauna Rosereed. Welcome, travelers! Are you looking for any herbal medicine in particular? I happen to be one of the few humans in Elvenia whose knowledge of herbs rivals that of most elves, so I'm sure I have just the sort of medicine you might require somewhere in stock, from the kinds used on minor sprains to the kinds needed for fatal wounds inflicted by deep sword thrusts. That sounds handy. That's reassuring to hear after all of the ordeals that we've gone through on Elvenia's roads. But before we get down to business, perhaps you could help us with a question. Sure, sweetie. What is it? What's the name of your shop again? You now stand in Sebuline Reef's most well-known supplier of any elf or human Elvenia's medical needs, as well as the best source of organic comestible this side of Naraka, the Old Town Store. Why are you asking, if I may be so intrusive? Just curious. We, haven't ever traveled to this part of the continent, that's all. We're simply inexperienced travelers just passing through. Ah, is that so? Well then, please know that you are welcome to stay and rest here before you continue on your way to wherever it is that you are journeying. And do be careful once you go back out there, children. This kingdom isn't the safest part of Elvenia to be traveling in anymore. Okay, shop time. So, Strikeback says, did you know the Y in Ye Old is actually pronounced the? So, the old? Maybe that's why the word is the instead of ye nowadays. Ye is just an outdated spelling, or the is just an outdated spelling. So what do we got in this shop? Antidote, ammonia. Let me buy a couple more antidotes. A couple more. I can never remember whether I should be pressing left or right or up and down. In fact, I was just playing Pokemon, and it was left and right to go one by one in that one, I think. Now I'm not sure what it was. Either way, it always seems kind of inconsistent. Career confused, nah. Petrify, nah. Paralyze? Oh, yes, yes. Maybe not necessarily that many, but definitely that many. I seem to recall paralysis being a thing in the near future. Do Clover... Hopefully this ain't a mistake. Oh, there's another shop there. It was probably a mistake. Interesting, by the way, that this seems identical to a shop on Earth. Makes me wonder if it really is identical to the real world shop, assuming that there is one. Fauna's assistant. Yeah, I'd like to hire a gorgeous young chick and have a good time. What? Well, whatever. We got equipment and I don't have money. That's unfortunate. Well, maybe I don't actually need some of this. What's the Kali staff? That's something I already have. Here, let me back out. Don't need the inn. I'll hold off on saving. So the Kali staff, I'm pretty sure is something we already have. And I'm gonna keep it on hand just in case. 80s wave, have that. M Longblade? M Longblade. Yep, we already have one of those. Gold mail. We do have that. Wolf poncho, we got that. And leather pads, we got that. Okay, so I don't necessarily need to buy anything. Good. Makes me really concerned for the future, though. Eventually, I am gonna have to buy more stuff again. So the Kali staff made for concussive blows, Uri's second weapon. Specifically for Uri, I will keep that in mind. 80s wave, demons of Yuzuki cannot tolerate this era of earthling pop music. Lynn's second weapon. Honestly, I like 80s music. It is my favorite kind of music. I just love that synthetic sound. Comes from Ray's playing video games, listening to NES and SNES music. Mithril Longblade. Longsword is forged as special metal. Dusk Supping Weapon. I'm getting tongue-tied. Need to not do that. Gold mail. Expensive to forge, but defensible armor. Lynn's second armor. It is interesting that the gold armor is this early into the game, considering a lot of games decide to have gold equipment as one of the best kind. Even though, logically speaking, gold is not actually very endurable. Or durable. Wolf Poncho. Poncho said to harbor the spirit of the fabled White Wolf of Febronia. That's second armor. Leather pads, hard leather coverings for the chest and limbs. Uri second armor. Neat. Let's see if we can find secrets! 3 root beers, awesome! Ooh, what's this? An aloe vera. That's a paralysis or sleep, one of those two. Petrify. Wrong on both counts. 2 sugar clovers. Which ones were those again? Is that a new item? That's a new item. MP plus 50, that is good. That reminds me, I need to go ahead and sort these. There we go. Get the healing items on top. Anything else? 2 antidotes. Those are always good to have. And I think that's it. What's your story? Elf child that wandered a little too far from home. The food's great. You normally would not think that organic-based stuff would agree with an elf's tongue, but this place has proven otherwise. I wonder if Mother would think to look for me way out here. I still have so many places in Cebuline Reef that I want to visit before being forced to return home. Are you saying that you actually ran away this far from the comfort and safety of your home, not to mention from your loving parents' care, and are subjecting yourself to the violent dangers of the outside world simply to avoid having to eat the Brussels sprouts that your mother might have placed on the dinner table? All the way from Lelia? Yeah, that's right. And so I traveled here to see what kinds of food that the humans and dwarves from this continent are accustomed to. So what? You got a problem? What a brat. He is, isn't he? One of those kids that yells profanities over Xbox Live. What's your story? As I walk through you. Freckled schoolgirl. Oh, hello. I cannot recall seeing you three gentlemen from around here before. You don't appear to be from this region, but you have the appearances of scholars like myself. Are you just passing through? Or are you students from the nearby village of Arath like I am? I don't remember Arath. The former. Ah, so what brings you here, may I ask? To put it simply, we are looking for someone. We are? Have you by chance crossed paths with a particular individual known as the Lord of Oh, that. I think what Lynn meant to say was that we are simply traveling throughout Elvania to see and learn more about its kingdoms. We've never before set foot beyond Lelia until we started this journey, you see, and so we know very little of this continent. Would you perhaps be willing to... Ah, I would be happy to. The land in Sebeline Reef has become dangerous enough as it is without my being so unkind as to send first-time adventurers out on the roads without any sense of direction. But we should introduce ourselves to each other first, don't you think so? Oh, sorry. You're right. The name's Uri. Lynn, pleasure to meet you. And I go by Dusk. I am at your service, my lady. Before you even get through before you even get the thought in your head, Dusk, for the last time, stop! A classy-looking girl of noble status like this seems a bit out of your league anyway. Freckled schoolgirl has a bemused smile. Giggle. Glad to meet you all. My name is Jersey. Gwendolyn Jersey Hartshorn. That's gonna be an important name, I feel like. I will write it down. Gwendolyn Jersey Hartshorn. Schoolgirl, we met in ye old a place a. So let's see here. My name is Jersey, Gwendolyn Jersey Hartshorn, a recent transfer student from the city of Naraka. I began attending school in the neighboring village of Ruatha to study the lands and histories of Elvenia's kingdoms, so perhaps I can be of help to you with my growing knowledge of such things. Forgive my earlier assumption about you, sirs, but you simply gave me that impression. And you also appear to be closer to my age. Well, no, you weren't wrong at all about our being near your age, and we are university students like yourself. It's just that the place where we attend school is, shall we say, very far away from Arath. I think that I understand. Anyway, what can I do with? What can I, what? I feel like I read that wrong. So you see, with the exception of the Holy City, it is doubtful that you will find even one elf wandering around anywhere on this continent, whereas in Lelia, you can find our pointy-eared brethren hiding in every treetop. Sibyline Reef is generally only populated by humans and dwarves, and for some strange reason that my classmates and I are currently researching into, always seems to be afflicted with less sunny and more stormy weather than Lelia. An odd quirk in Elvinia's nature that appears to have developed in the last 4 months or so. It's just like Baneka said, the atmosphere over Elvinia really is getting darker the closer south we get to the Dark Lord. I've recently learned in school that elves aren't accustomed to eating the same kind of food that some humans do either, so I doubt that you will find the person you're searching for anywhere near this quaint little diner if that person is an elf. Why is that? Well, elves abhor the thought of altering Mother Nature in any kind of way, which is why they never use the wood from trees to build their homes, and I would assume also why you would not catch them consuming a muffin that's been shot with every type of chemistry-altering drug known to science. You know, I know some humans that are pretty much like that as well. An elf will politely turn down that muffin. Well, that is one difference between elves and those humans that I have just spoken of. Usually, you will just find an elf nibbling a ginseng leaf directly from the plant itself. As for a girl who likes pointy ears, however, I prefer to spend my lunch hour every day in this place, nibbling on a muffin rather than directly from nature's hand. I will say, I do like muffins, and if you ever find a muffin tree, point me to it, and I will happily eat from nature's hand. Now here's an interesting paradox. Could your eating the stuff from this place for lunch every day back home be the very cause of your having such uncanny proficiency in a highly complex area of knowledge like organic chemistry, while your classmates around you fail miserably on every exam? Dusk is shrugging. Who knows? I am just one of those rare students who show up in a college classroom once in a blue moon to bring disgrace to the one who holds the PhD for a change, I guess. Oh, I hadn't noticed that the hour is almost approaching noon. Forgive me, but I must be getting back to school. Take care! Okay, bye! Oh, I hadn't noticed that the hours are almost approaching noon. Must be getting back to school. Take care. Yeah, you gonna do that? Whatever. How about this then? We're gonna go on an episode break. And when we come back from this break, I'm gonna talk to that cat. Who wants to bet that that cat can talk?